Good morning, good afternoon, almost all of you. It's really good to welcome you to Colorado, and to my district in particular. This is the 6th Congressional District of Colorado, which is a wonderful, beautiful place. I hope you're able to get out of the Gaylord and actually enjoy some of the beauty that Colorado provides and offers to all of you. As you probably have seen, Colorado is a great place for wind and solar. We like the sun, we like the wind a little bit less, but it's a great place for renewable energy, wind and solar development. We're really leading the nation in this, as many of you know. But the key to this is transmission. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, where we have to be able to move energy from where the sun is shining and the wind is blowing to where it's not, to make the renewable energy transmission. And on the issue of infrastructure and transmission, I wanted to take this moment and talk to you about my district in particular, and the importance of infrastructure and kind of reframing the way we think about infrastructure as it impacts my district and my community. We are in the northeast portion of my district. I represent Aurora, Littleton, Colorado, Centennial, Colorado, Brighton, Thornton. Those are my main communities. My district, the district where we sit in right now, is actually one of the most diverse districts in America. About 20% of my constituents, the people that live here, that work here, were born outside of the United States. I have over 150 different languages and dialects spoken in my community. When I look at my community, I look at the faces of America. But at the same time, I understand that those communities oftentimes have been disenfranchised and have not been taken into account when we build infrastructure. About 5 miles west of here, along the I-70 corridor, is a neighborhood called Globeville-Swansea. And in the 1950s and 60s, when we built the interstate system, that viaduct, the I-70 viaduct, was put directly through that neighborhood. That neighborhood is almost exclusively Hispanic. It cut it in half, and since then, cancer rates have increased, asthma rates have increased, economic issues prevail still in that district. For the last 40 years, that community has dealt with the impact of infrastructure being put through the center and cutting it in half. So I just want us all to think, as we talk about the bipartisan infrastructure bill, when we talk about energy transmission infrastructure, we talk about these lifetime investments that we're about to make with the money that we've appropriated in Congress, how we spend that money, and how we build this transmission infrastructure. Because we do not have a good history in the United States of taking into account environmental justice and the impact of communities when we make these investments. Similarly, we're on the verge of making lifetime historic investments in electric vehicle charging stations around the nation. And when we do so, I think it's important that we think about where we are putting those stations, where we're investing that money, and whether we are doing it in an equitable way. Because these are the people that I represent, these are the people that will be impacted by these investments if we do it the wrong way. The second thing you should know about my district is I'm the home to Buckley Space Force Base. We have over 70,000 veterans here, and I have one of the largest defense, aviation, and aerospace industries in the nation. I'm a former Army Ranger. I served 3 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm an unabashed national security Democrat. I'm proud to focus a lot on national security issues. I sit on the Armed Services Committee and on the House Intelligence Committee. I have over 250 aviation, aerospace, and defense businesses in my district alone that employs over 60,000 of my constituents. So energy is a national security issue. And that's why a couple of years ago when I first came to Congress, I'm in my 2nd term now, but about 3 years ago, I convened and started what I call the Sustainable Power Initiative. Because I realized that if we don't effectively deal with energy, that is an enormous vulnerability vis-a-vis our adversaries. It used to be the case that we think about the front line of national security, the front line of battles, as some faraway, distant place. But now the front line is every computer terminal, every plug, and whether or not we have energy resilience and reliability at our installations. Our installations are now at the front line. And that's why we have convened defense leaders, we have convened the private sector, we convened both civilian and nonprofit sector folks to come together and think about how we can catalyze these investments, how we can use things like the Competes Act and the incubator programs that are envisioned in that act to make sure that our military installations are secure and resilient, and we build out microgrids. What some of you may not know is that the Department of Defense actually has the largest renewable energy portfolio in the federal government. Over 20% of DoD energy comes from renewable sources, and that number is increasing. There are over 1,000 military installations, United States military installations around the world. And we are building out microgrids, we are building out renewable energy at those bases, which make us more secure, saves US taxpayer money, and is good for the environment as well. So I will leave you with that. Think about how we're making these investments and how it impacts these communities that it's supposed to serve, and those who often don't have a voice at the table. And let's also think about how we can move investments and catalyze investments to make us a safer, more secure nation as it relates to national security. So thank you all for doing this work. I am in awe, frankly, of looking out at this crowd. I know who's here. I'm in awe of the work you do, and I want to partner with you and work together to make sure we're doing this work and winning the future here. Thank you very much. Welcome to Colorado.